G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I uploaded these two videos a while ago, the best gem plants and the worst gem plants in Plants vs Zombies 2. I thought it was about time I remade these videos since my opinions have changed a bit since then, and so have my recording and editing skills. So for this video, I'll be updating these two lists and combining them into this one video. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you couldn't tell, I do sound a bit sick, and well, that's because I've had COVID for the past week, so that's been fun. For those of you who haven't watched the original two videos, we'll be discussing the best and worst gem plants in Plants vs Zombies 2. These are also known as gemium plants, since they're premium plants that cost gems. These plants all cost 100 gems and are found in the store either permanently or during certain in-game events. I see a lot of people asking which gem plants they should buy first, so that's the reason why I made the original videos and why I'm remastering them now. Let this video serve as a guide for the gem plants you should buy first or last throughout your playthrough. Of course, this is just my own opinion. Also, this list isn't factoring in how much I enjoy the plant's concept, characteristics, aesthetics, etc. The list is simply based on how strong I think the plants are and how useful they are in the adventure mode of the game. With all that being said, let's get started. Jalapeno is a 125 sun instant use plant that deals massive damage across one whole lane. Like Squash and Cherry Bomb, it takes two of these guys to take down a Gargantua. But for most other zombies in the game, it can instantly destroy them. Given the often large waves of zombies that this game throws at you, taking a Jalapeno isn't a bad choice. It serves as a great last resort if your other defenses can't handle the amount of zombies in a certain lane, or for taking down Gargantuas. Don't get me wrong, Homing Thistle isn't a bad plant. In fact, it's far from being bad. It's just a lot of the gemium plants are so good that they outweigh the Homing Thistle. Homing Thistle is a 250 sun cost attacking plant that fires projectiles targeting the closest zombie to your house. Yes, this includes the whole lawn, not just the lane the Homing Thistle is planted in. In some situations, Homing Thistle's high damage can be useful for taking down tanky zombies, or for picking off zombies that break their way through your defenses, approaching your house or lawnmowers. However, as I mentioned before, Plants vs Zombies 2, its later worlds especially, throw enormous amounts of zombies with every wave, meaning that Homing Thistle can quickly become outnumbered and obsolete since its projectiles deal no splash damage, only targeting one zombie at a time. Another weakness of Homing Thistles is that it's really bad at defending itself. Since it targets zombies in other lanes closest to your house, it will never prioritize defending itself over your house. You'll often find Homing Thistle letting a zombie munch on it while it's trying to attack a zombie in another lane that's further across the lawn. If Homing Thistle had Endurion's ability where chewing on it dealt damage to zombies, that would be a decent solution to this self-defense deficiency. Overall though, Homing Thistle isn't a very good plant, but it's not a very bad plant. It's just an alright plant with some big faults. Ghost Pepper is a Halloween exclusive plant that sits on a lawn for a short time after being planted, dealing damage to the zombies behind and in front of her in a 4-tile diameter. After her time is expired, she begins to fade away before exploding, dealing large damage to the zombies in the tiles surrounding her. She costs 75 sun, which means her high area damage provides quite a lot of value for her sun cost. Additionally, she's completely immune to zombies eating her, instead they just walk through her. She's also immune to Wizard Zombie and Octo Zombie's transformations, which is always a good thing. Also, I've noticed her powerful plant food that causes her to deal massive damage to zombies in a 3x3 area around her. This plant food is often similar to using a cherry bomb, clearing the zombies around her. Another feature of Ghost Pepper is that she can be planted above water in Big Wave Beach without the need of a lily pad. So, what makes Ghost Pepper so good? Well, I've already said why she's good simply through describing her features as a plant. Ghost Pepper's high area damage provides great value for her low sun cost, allowing you to take out heaps of low to medium health zombies in a generous area of the lawn. Unfortunately, we find my personal favourite plant, Hypnoshroom, at the position of 4th worst gemium plant. However, no amount of favoritism can overshadow Hypnoshroom's blaring weaknesses in the game. Hypnoshroom is a 125 sun cost plant that hypnotizes the zombie that eats it. The hypnotized zombie turns around and starts to fight for you, attacking oncoming zombies. While this ability sounds pretty cool on paper, the level and zombie design in this game doesn't help Hypnoshroom's case at all. As I've brought up twice already in this video, the levels in Plants vs Zombies 2 often throw a very large quantity of zombies at you. This makes it difficult to get any value out of Hypnoshroom since one singular hypnotized zombie will get insta-killed by the oncoming hordes of enemy zombies as soon as the Hypnoshroom is eaten, rendering it useless. As for zombie design, compared to the original Plants vs Zombies where Hypnoshroom was native to, an overwhelming amount of the cast are zombies that don't actually eat plants but destroy them by other means. This includes crushing plants with weapons and rolling over them with barrels or pianos, or summoning animal minions to take care of them, and so on. That being said, lots of zombies are made immune to Hypnoshroom by the fact that they don't eat plants to begin with. This, in addition to the 50 Sun increase in cost from the original game, make Hypnoshroom worse than it was back in the day. With all that being said, Hypnoshroom isn't completely useless. It is only the 4th worst gem plant. One of its redeeming factors is its outstanding plant food ability, transforming the hypnotized zombie into a Gargantua. Sapling is a 75 Sun cost Feastivus plant that lobs pine cones at zombies in its lane. These pine cones do not damage zombies, but rather land on the ground below them, forming sap puddles that halve the zombie's movement speed. Sapling isn't meant to be an attacking plant, but rather a stalling plant that supports your main attackers. Sapling's low Sun cost combined with its excellent ability to slow down large groups of zombies make it great at fulfilling this role. As I explained in further detail in my Christmas plants video, Sapling's 0 damage output actually improves its performance as a plant, as ironic as that sounds. If you want to hear me go into further detail about Sapling, make sure you check that video out. Unfortunately, Sapling has a lackluster plant food ability. If it had a great plant food ability, it would probably be higher on this list. Overall, Sapling is one of the better stallers in the game though. Sweet Potato is a 150 Sun cost wall plant exclusive to the Food Fight event. Sweet Potato is similar to the Walnut, except she attracts nearby zombies into her lane, basically being the opposite of Garlic. Now, Sweet Potato can be good for grouping a bunch of zombies into a small area so you can get them all in range of an insta-kill plant or splash damaging projectiles, but I find this to be too niche to be useful. When are you going to pick Sweet Potato over strong stallers or instant plants like Primal Potato Mine, Stallia, Hurricane, and etc.? I just find these to be more efficient picks for your supporting plants. Besides, Power Creep has made this plant basically redundant. For example, Teleportato Mine is cheaper, and it also gathers a group of zombies together like Sweet Potato. And then it blows them all up. One of the only good things about this plant is that it got buffed, as its sun cost was halved in a past update. But all that really says is this thing was even worse before. I can basically sum this up by saying Hurricane moves zombies backwards while Sweet Potato moves them up and down. Which one do you think is useless and which one do you think buys you a bunch of time and moves whole lanes of zombies? Speaking of Hurricane, this 100 Sun cost instant plant pushes back zombies in the lane it's used and chills them. Airborne zombies in the lane are blown off the screen entirely to the same effect of a blower. This plant is an excellent stalling plant due to the fact that it just buys you so much time. It would be stronger if it just pushed back all the zombies all the way down the lane, but it doesn't just do that, it also chills the zombies, meaning that they take even longer to make their way back up the lane. This plant is great for saving you in tricky situations and near misses, as well as buying extra time against tanky zombies like Gargantuas. There's not really much else to say about this plant, just a very good plant in general. Peanut is a 150 Sun cost plant that serves as an odd mix between the pea shooter and walnut, if that wasn't already obvious. Whilst this sounds like a cool concept in theory, it just doesn't work in practice. Peanut, depending on where you place it at the front or the back of the lawn, is either a 150 Sun cost pea shooter or a 150 Sun cost walnut, essentially. This means that no matter where you place the plant, you're losing a ton of sun value. If you place it up at the front of the lawn to act as a walnut, the pea shooter aspect becomes useless, since the zombies spawn immediately in front of the peanuts, giving them no time to damage the zombies, making the damage to zombies negligible. The opposite is true for if you place the peanut at the back of the lawn like a pea shooter. The walnut aspect of the plant becomes useless since zombies will rarely reach that far down a lawn, so you're only getting value out of the walnut side of the plant. Well, no, that's a lie. Zombies have a good chance of making it that far down a lawn if you're even trying to use this plant. So you may be asking, Koala, can't you just get the full value of the plant if you place it in the middle of the lawn? Well, no. In the middle of the lawn, Peanut will only get to shoot zombies for half the time and defend zombies as Walnut for the other half. This means that you're essentially paying 150 Sun for a half effective pea shooter and a half effective Walnut. That's an approximate value of 75 Sun, while the Peanut itself costs double that. Yes, this quantitative evaluation is very generalized. It's not going to play out like this every time you use the plant. But even so, if you plant your peanuts in the middle of the lawn, you would be wasting space that is generally reserved for sun producers, defensive plants, or close range plants like snapdragons and bok choys. Okay, I promise I'm nearly done berating Peanut, but there's just one thing that needs addressing. In my original video, many of you said that Peanut's synergy with reinforcement makes it a better plant. This is flawed since none of the other plants on this list need their specific mint to be useful. Also, we're ranking Peanut, not reinforcement. Anyway, it's time to reveal the best gem plant in Plants vs Zombies 2. Shrinking Violet is a versatile and useful plant for just about every level in the game. It shrinks all zombies in a 3x3 area, halving their health. Hence, they're best used against tanky zombies like Gargantuas. Think about this. Instead of requiring 2 insta-kill plants that take ages to recharge and cost more sun, you can instead use 1 Shrinking Violet and 1 insta-kill plant to more efficiently deal with Gargantuas. This, in my opinion, is the best application of the plant, only made more advantageous by the abundance of Gargantuas in the game. Shrinking Violet also instantly destroys imps, which can be useful in tight situations. I do feel like Shrinking Violet is just a cheaper cherry bomb since it feels like all the tiny zombies just die straight away due to their halved health. And since Cherry Bomb and all of its clones are great plants, it's pretty easy to see why Shrinking Violet is an amazing plant. Also, insta-kill plants are just so OP in Plants vs Zombies 2 to begin with. Again, Shrinking Violet isn't an insta-kill plant itself, but it definitely feels like one. Well, technically if you use it on imps it is, I guess. I don't even think I need to explain this one, this plant's just really